Hey everyone, this is Matt Carl at LeRoy Heritage Museum, and I'm here in the hotel today to give you an update midwinter as to the progress that we've made in the building. We have about 6 months left before our building permit runs out. Our goal is to try to finish the building in that time. We still have money to raise in order to be able to do that, but we're going to show you exactly where we are in the project as far as the inside goes. So we're here in the gift shop, and you can see that a lot of progress has been made in the gift shop. First of all, over to the left side of the picture, you can see that the closet is all together. This is a storage closet for the gift shop, and we used a door that was taken from a different part of the building and was no longer needed, and it was a smaller door, so it was perfect for the closet. We don't have the trim around it yet. We're working on staining that trim, and then that will be going up. We searched all around to find the hardware that would match the downstairs, and we put that back on this door. So again, this is a storage closet, and this room is completely finished except for flooring. There's a light in here now. In order to find enough hinges that would work for this door, we ended up having to go on eBay and found a set of hinges that match the hinges that we have here in the building. Now the screws that are in there are just temporary, holding them in. We have some older screws we'll be putting in there, but we were able to find 2 of those hinges, and it works well for this door. So one of the things you'll notice that's different in this room is that we've put this door back in to the right, and this door was taken off about 5 years ago when we moved in order to protect it, because this door has older glass in it that we wanted to keep in good condition. So we have put this back in and put the molding back that was missing on this door, and so this room is done except for hardwood flooring in here, and there's some trim to put around 2 other doors here. This window was reassembled with trim that was salvaged from around the building, and so we just have to restain it. The blocks at the top, we didn't have original size blocks for that window, so we had to improvise with something there, but once everything is stained, it will all look the same, everything will match, and then there will be a different window treatment in here as well. We just have flooring to put down, as I mentioned. So we'll go out into the hallway, and all of the molding and trim in the hallway that needed to be repaired has been done. So if we turn and go into the main exhibit room, so we have finished doing all of the molding in here as well around the doors to match the rest of the building. So we have this door, and then this door is complete. And that matches the trim that was around the front windows already. And all of this has been repainted as well, so everything looks all brand new again. And then over on this side we have all new molding around this door as well. At the back of the room are these windows that had to have trim put around it again, and so this is again molding that's been salvaged from around the building and put back in place. And this window at the back of the room, this is the second window, and this also had to have trim redone all around it to match the rest of the house. Also had to have a new window casing, all built around the inside because this is a relatively thick wall, and so that had to be changed, but this is all, again, molding salvaged from around the building. And of course, one of the exciting things is the installation of new lights inside this room, which really help to brighten the room up, along with the white ceiling that we have in here now. These lights were purchased in memory of various people, and donations were given in order to purchase them. So we still have lights in the ballroom that need to be purchased, and they will be the same kind. And if you'd like to help us purchase the lights for the ballroom, they are $500 per light, and for that amount we place your name permanently on a plaque inside the room, along with the other people who have given towards the lights for that room. So this room downstairs is done, but we have the ballroom upstairs still to be done. And the only thing not on the ceiling now is the track lighting, which we still have to order once we have the funds for that. In the handicapped bathroom, we are also finished, except for the flooring in here, and of course the fixtures. And so the lights are all in, and we're ready to do flooring. So we had to put back a lot of trim and molding around the stairway that had to be taken off or had to be put back the way it originally was. And so now all of the trim going up the stairs is all put in place. At the top of the steps, the molding used to be cut in half. You can kind of see a line running down the wall with white paint as to where that was. But we completely replaced that and repaired that. So that is back to the way that it originally would have looked. As you can see, there's a lot of places where we have to do restaining or touching up with stain as the final step. But all of the wood is there in place. At the top of the steps and looking down the hall, everything to the right of the door shown here is woodwork that was all put back in place. That was all taken out and in order to do the firewall, and when we put it back, it's been put back now to look as it did when the house was originally built 125 years ago. So again, there's some restaining to be done, but it turned out pretty good using materials from around the house that we had salvaged. There's still quarter round to do along the bottom of the wall all the way through this hallway, but we are getting ready to refinish this floor first, and then the quarter round is going to go down after that. So right here we have a door that used to be here, and the trim has gone back on to show where the door was, and so there's an idea of possibly putting some sort of 3D painting in here to make it look like you're looking down the hall that you used to turn to the left right here. So I'm working on that to see how that would work out, but we wanted to put this back the way that it originally was. You can see that the wainscoting stops to the right of this door and then picks up with a different kind of baseboard, and that's the way that it was originally built, so we put it back that way. Of course, we had to put a fire door in here, but all of this baseboard had to be cut and refit and put back in along this wall here. Also in the hallway, we have on the other side of the wall here, this section of wainscoting. The corner of this was completely torn up, and there had been changes made over the years, and so all of the pieces are fit back in place here, so this corner looks crisp again. And then going up the wall is a corner bead of wood that was originally on this corner many years ago. Fortunately, we were able to find it still in the attic, and we're able to put it back on. So it really helps set off the look of this wall with all of that put back together. So going down the wall, all of this remained in place, so we didn't have to do anything with this part of the woodwork. But then getting down to this portion, there was the top piece had to be redone and put in place that runs along the wall here. We didn't do anything on this wall except for putting on, again, the new top piece. And then everything around this door was brand new, using salvaged woodwork. This door had been put in by the previous owner, and the trim around the door was not finished. So this has been fixed, and the trim has all been put on to look as though it had never been taken off. There's a piece that has to go down at the bottom of the door still, but everything from the corner on the right side over to the corner on the left side is all new, and really blends everything together and makes it look like it had always been that way. And then on the corner here, again, we have matching piece that runs up the wall, and that is back in place, and it runs along the top here as well, and that piece is back in place. Those were still here when we moved in, but those had to be taken out because of the drywalling and plasterwork that had to be done. And then moving over onto this section, again, there's a line running down the wall there. A piece of wall used to stick out there that was not original to the building, and so we filled back in the places where molding was missing, and it turned out pretty good. On this section of the stairway, there was a piece that had to be glued back together. It had fallen apart, and so that got done, and it's hard to tell now where that piece was. So other than cleaning up the staircase and refinishing the floor and touching up some staining up here, this hallway is pretty much finished. We also had to do some quarter round around this window here once we got the walls finished up, and so that's all been done. So now we'll go into the ballroom. So in the ballroom, this piece running along the top of the wainscoting here had to be redone, and that will be restained, as well as new staining done on the woodwork here where the roof had leaked years ago, and to blend that back in again. Other than that, there's a little bit of trim work to be done in here, but the only thing remaining to be done other than that are to do new lights. Something's going to change with these fans. One of them doesn't work, and around the chimney we are working on some trim that had been taken out years ago, and we're trying to put something back there. So off the hallway here is our second floor bathroom, which will be for the public. And so this room has also been finished and repainted, and new trim put along around the doors, and also baseboards. All of the baseboards have been redone to look as they originally would have. The trim around the door has been redone. Everything's been repainted. The hardware again has been stripped down and reinstalled. All the electrical is new. Plumbing is all hooked up in here. And again, trim was done. Now the floor, which is marble, was already done, and there was actually a shower in here which is going to stay because we're not required to remove it, and it was an unnecessary waste of money to remove it. So other than that, this room is complete and ready to be used. So now we'll head back downstairs and take a look at the rest of the first floor and what we've done. So looking into this front room, which will be another exhibit room, we have finished everything in here again except for the track lighting on the ceiling and the hardwood flooring, but otherwise the walls are back together. The trim, what repairs that needed to be done have been done. If you remember that there was a closet here that wasn't original, we had to take out, and now you can't even see that there was a closet there. We made some repairs to the pocket doors so that this one will go properly back into the wall again, and found a key on eBay to fit this lock right here. It's a special kind of a key, and we did find that and found that it does work. The only issue is that the doors are slightly warped because there had been water. This first floor had a little flood in it when the pipes broke prior to the previous owner moving in. So I think maybe the doors might have warped as a result of that, but they do come together pretty good. They just don't quite line up good enough to lock. So over on this side, we had a door that we had filled in this area, which you can't see anymore. And we have trim put back in place, and there'll be some restaining to be done there. And some molding was redone around this window here. And so everything is done in this area again, except for the hardwood floor that would be put into this room and the adjoining room, so that when you come in here, this whole area will be rotating exhibits and things that will change from year to year. And here's a room that we haven't looked at before. This room has recently been finished. We've been using it all along anyway, but it's had a makeover done. And this is our meeting room. and all of the fixtures in here, as far as tables and chairs and whiteboard on the wall and everything, was all donated. And the light in the ceiling actually comes from another room in the house. It's a newer light, but it was in a different place in the house when we moved in. And so the walls and the ceiling, the plaster was fixed and the room was repainted. All of the woodwork was restained. The floor was already done, but we had to finish the floor all the way to the wall. It hadn't been finished, and so that was done. The radiator was put back in. This wall over here had a door running through it that had to come out due to fire code, and so that was done. Molding was put in to match. And this door, which was originally the attic door, was put in here. This is a bathroom off from the meeting room, and the original door that went here was not available and was too damaged to put here. But the old attic door happened to work perfectly, so we were able to put that back on. That's been restained, the hardware's been cleaned up, and that's been all put back together. And the thermostat is new in here as well. So this room has undergone a lot of changes. And the bathroom off from the meeting room has also, you might have seen this in pictures quite some time ago, when this was a room that was had nothing but studs, and there was no drywall, and we had to completely redo this room. And there was a firewall had to be put in on one wall and also on the ceiling. And so this room is finished and fully functional now, and works well right here off the meeting room. So another thing finished has been all of the electrical, and the wiring has been tied into the box that was not already done, and everything has been finished here, and everything in the box has been completely relabeled and new breakers put in, and everything is finished up in that, and the service panel here, the sub panel I should say. So that is all complete as well. All throughout the building we have fire exit signs and emergency lighting, and that's all been installed and inspected and is ready to go. Down here in the basement, this has been our storage area for trim work that we would need throughout the house. And so there's some that go with this house and some that doesn't. But digging through this, we were able to find all of the pieces that we needed to do what we have done throughout the house. And we're just about down to not having anything left in some of the trim. So things have worked out well for what was here. Some of this came from a house down the street that had trim that was similar to this house. I talked about that in a previous video. So that pretty much gives you an idea of where we're at with the building project. Not much more to do on the inside, but we're still looking for funds to finish in the next 6 months. You can find more information about what we have left to raise on our website at LeRoyHeritage.org. And thank you for your contribution to the project. It's been 5 years that we've been working on this, and it's just about ready to come to a close. There's a few things that have to be done outside as well, but not significant. Just some things code-wise that have to be attended to. And again, inside the hardwood flooring and another railing in the stairway here, and track lighting in the ceiling is pretty much all that's left inside. There's some heating, cooling that has to be done in the ballroom, So here is another last look at the foyer area of the building. Now that we have this door back in place with the glass window in it, you can now see what this was originally. And so when we have the hardwood floor in here, it'll look beautiful once again. So thank you again for joining me, and we'll pop in again probably in the spring with another update as far as what things are looking like in the building. Thanks again.